Okay, good afternoon, Archana. Thank you so much,
Good
firstly,
afternoon.
in
Thank
such
you
a
so
short
much, Vandita.
notice. Yeah,
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 yeah.
for joining us. This special parenting talk series. We have a lot
Yeah.
of questions that we take from parents that we want to ask, and I know you through a common friend. I've heard very, very good things about you.
Oh,
Then I spoke to you briefly, then you sent me a bio, so you are full of a lot of talent. So,
thank you
if
for saying that.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard so many good things about your parenting style. And then I know you're working around art with some neurodiverse children now. Um, Vocalist, you're a Carnatic vocalist. So I'll give you a brief, for parents, I will give you a brief background of Archana. Archana Haran is her name. She has a 11-year-old non-speaking autistic son. And this is what I've heard about Archana, that she's doing this amazing work when it comes to parenting of her son. And Archana is also a trained Carnatic vocalist. She finds joy in art and travel. So I know that she's teaching art also somewhere. And she writes a lot. She writes on life, she writes on motherhood. So these are things that I want to learn from her today. And other than that, she had a great career as a business analyst across the globe. So, Archana, is there anything you want to add before I start with my set of questions?
No, I mean, this is just fabulous. Actually, it's a lot more than what I actually am. But yeah, I would just say that, yeah, I do dabble with a lot of creative hobbies. That's always been something I've been interested in.
Hmm.
And like you rightly said, professionally, I've
Yeah,
been a business analyst and a program manager. I did
yeah,
take a break in the middle, but it was always, off and
yeah,
on, and
yeah. I will touch on
so
that question. I have a question on
yeah,
that. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna
Thank
start
you for the
from.
introduction, though. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh no, no, this is overwhelming for me. When I read about such parents doing so much, it is a reflection on me that there's so much more that I have to do. So thanks to
Come on.
you, parents like you. So my first question, Archana, will come more from the personal need and personal balance in life. So
Yeah.
normally what we have seen, Archana, so in this journey of Ayurveda, normally I would say we have spoken mostly to mothers.
Yes.
And most of the times they are the ones raising the child. I would say, 80-90% of the time that the child is spending is with the mother.
Sure.
So this whole primary caregiving role that falls on the mother, from your experience, how can mothers cater to their own needs and own well-being while they're raising a neurodiverse child?
Oh, wow. I have a lot of ideas when it comes to this
Please.
space because
Yes.
I would say that this is something, this area is something that I have been very mindful of. And to a large extent, I think I have figured out, the
Huh.
way to do it. And I
Huh.
cannot stress on it more that yes, as caregivers, especially as mothers, we have to take care of ourselves, our mental
Yeah.
health, our physical
Yeah.
health. And so, how we do it, see, I do understand that a lot of it is also, it also comes with, entitlement perhaps that, if we can afford to have a nanny, if we can afford to have someone else looking after our children, that's when we can really go about following our pursuits and hobbies. But I'd like to say, in general, if we can just make a mindset shift to say that we are also important.
Yeah.
If we keep reminding ourselves that, I think we'll all find a way. For example, it could just be a small walk around your neighborhood, but you have to set aside that time. You have to tell yourself that this 1 hour or whatever, half an hour, no one's going to interrupt me. This is what I'm going to put in my calendar. And then expectations are set that way to the rest of the people around you. That, okay, this is the time she doesn't like to be interrupted. It could be anything. So I am primarily somebody into creative hobbies. So I knit, crochet, sing, paint, pottery, whatever. So I hugely believe in using our hands to create something. I
Hmm.
think that brings a lot of peace into your everyday. And
Hmm.
at that time, you will disconnect from everything else. And I can't stress enough on how much value this adds to the to you being a parent, just switch off for some time. And it
Mm.
is possible. I mean, I think we all can do it. And it needed me something very elaborate, like taking a few days off and traveling, because I do understand that, especially mothers of younger children, autistic children, it can be
Yeah.
very difficult. But it is possible for every one of us to take a little time out every single day and just
Mm.
call that as your time. And in that time, you could just be doing anything. You could be
Yeah.
cooking,
Yeah.
you could be, yeah, it's whatever it is that makes you feel like this is your meditation, perhaps.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Mm.
something that just gives you that sense of individuality, where you
Mm.
feel like you're not just a mother, you're also a person, your needs matter. So
Yeah.
this is a wonderful question, actually, and I really cannot stress more on the importance of this. But of course,
When we speak
yeah,
to mothers, I think this is something I personally feel every parent, every mother needs.
yeah,
I also know that mothers or caregivers go through this guilt phase as well, that,
yeah,
why am I taking a break? Why am I enjoying when somebody else is not? Hi,
yeah,
Kanksha. So all those things I feel that I mean, I know it is not right to feel that guilt,
sure,
obviously, but
yeah,
how do you tell yourself? What did you tell yourself? Because I know many of the parents
yeah,
would be going through that. Many of the fathers, mothers, whoever are going through
yeah.
that point ki they do feel the guilt कि अरे हम कैसे मजा कर दें.
Correct, correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no. I mean, it's very difficult, and I have gone through that too. But there's just something you have to remind yourself constantly, that you
mm,
cannot pour from an empty cup, as they say. So if you are not
are happy.
yourself-centered, yeah, and if you
Yeah.
do not think that you are in control of yourself, you will not be adding a lot of
Yeah, that's
value
a
to your
great
life.
point. You can never pour
Yeah,
from an empty cup. I think that is something I will remember.
yeah,
I hope parents
yeah,
remember that sentence. Yeah, you have to be filled with
yeah.
some hope and happiness and excitement. Yeah.
And it all
So,
takes practice, I think. You just have to keep
yeah,
practicing it. It is very natural for the guilt to come in. It will. It will probably come in even after you go do something that you like. But it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Accept that it's all right to feel that. Yeah.
yeah. The next question was also somewhat related to the point that we touched upon, which is a bit of guilt combined with the guilt of purpose, combined with this whole purpose that, so you had a great career.
Right.
Um, there was a career pause. Maybe you chose it, maybe it was put upon you, however, that you had to take a decision to probably step back a bit. So from
Sure.
that thriving career to deciding to step back, maybe with the hope. So Archana, a lot of parents who stop working in the beginning, they have a hope that maybe, 3 years later, 4 years later, 2 years later, I'm going to go back into the workforce. Maybe you also thought that maybe you paused your work much later. But to tell yourself, I'm going to pause now, maybe I'll go back later, or I have to just pause for a really long time. It's going to be I mean, that's a very, very tough decision for somebody who's having a good career to pause that journey. So,
Yeah.
what do you tell yourself that now, how will you find new avenues for joy and
Mhm.
fulfillment after
Mhm.
that?
Yeah. So I think it's very important that we, all of us, do not attach, at least this is my personal belief. I'm sorry if it doesn't align with everyone else's, but I don't think we should attach our purpose to our children. I think we all should
Mm,
find some space where we also get satisfaction, soul satisfaction from something else. It could be, like you rightly said, it was a very difficult decision to quit a corporate life, especially where you get to travel a lot and you're making good money. It was very difficult, but then it also comes down to that point in your life where you have to decide, do I really want to be this person who wears burnout as a badge of honor? Do I want to do everything, do the caregiving, continue being a great mother, and also be somebody who is breaking the glass ceiling and just making it
yeah.
there in corporate life? And in this process, you're losing yourself. You're burning out very badly. I think that is what it comes down to. So if you are not in that state, if you're not ready for that, it's all right to take a break from your career, however thriving
Mm,
it is. But always, I really think it's very important for us to not get obsessed with the progress of our children. Because
Yeah.
once you are, a little bit, when once there is a little bit of shift of perspective, I feel everybody around us will do a lot more, especially for somebody like me who has struggled with anxiety and who always wanted to, who attached, the sense of success to accolades and achievements and all that. It was very difficult to just say
Yeah.
that I can't just be a homemaker. I can't just be a caregiver. It is a constant battle, but in
Yeah.
retrospect, I feel no one's out there really, like I
Yeah.
just said,
Yeah.
no
You
one's handing
imagine
out
that
keys.
there's a
Yeah,
queue outside, but actually
yeah,
there's
yeah.
nobody. It's just you.
No, nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
are our own,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
do I
Yeah. Yeah.
critics, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think,
We should self-validate. Yeah.
sure, yeah, and I think there comes a time for everything. It's all right but then
Hmm.
eventually I feel all of us should really find that one space. It could just be even in the space of no, I'm sorry, I said just. It's a huge thing to work in the space of autism itself. Like you could be a special educator, you could be an art therapist, a music
Yeah.
therapist. So
Yeah.
where your child is also involved in
Yeah.
it.
You're
So
closer to that. Of course.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever
Yeah.
it is, I think it's important. And that's a lesson I learned a little bit later, I would say.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I've done it. I mean, I've learned it
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. I want some perspective on parenting from you now that can you share a moment in your journey? And I'm sure you also would have had something very similar where in the beginning, like you said, you did have anxiety. Maybe you had denial. You took a lot of time to accept where, in what situation you're in with your child. So, do you have a moment with Dhruv that shifted your perspective on parenting and helped you embrace or rather accept more deeply?
Yeah, okay. So I think it's just going to be a longish answer. So for this, I'll just have to give a little bit of a background.
Hmm.
So actually, Dhruv was a neurotypically developing child, hit all the developmental milestones till 2.5, and he was able to speak three languages, in fact, sing and talk and whatnot. And we were living in Spain at that time, and then gradually he started regressing. So from 2.5 to 3.5, we could see that he went from talking three languages to none at all. So at that time, it was very unnerving, right? And you're alone and you're fighting it. Obviously, I was not very aware of autism or that world at all. And it came as a huge blow when you heard it for the first time that, okay, what is this, and how is it my child? And there was no clarity on what the diagnosis was, what the prognosis is, and what is the path forward. So at that time, I still remember how I was so caught up on, okay, I got to make sure that he gets these skills back. He has lost his speech. I have to make sure that he hits this speech therapy, occupational therapy, play therapy, whatnot. And I was so involved in all that I completely forgot that he's still a child. He's still a toddler. He's still a developing child who
Yeah.
wants to play with his mother, who still wants the same kind of interaction, who still wants that time, with his mom, and not fill it up with therapies and whatnot, just because you want to
Yeah.
get that back. There's that anxiety, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
therapists thrust this onto you where they say that, oh, time is running out, you shouldn't lose this time. And obviously, what do we mothers do? We just imagine that this is what we should be doing. We should just take them from one class to another. So I still remember he's always been a water baby. Dhruv has always loved water. I would say I still have videos of him like 2 weeks old, like literally, swimming in a tub. So I remember I taken him to a holiday to Goa, and so I was just lost in this whole thing of, oh my God, why is he not doing, like he lost a lot of cognitive skills as well. Why is he not able to hold this? Why is he not playing with the toys? Why is he just, holding the sand like this and leaving it? Why is he not, etc. Like, all those things. And I remember I just took him into the pool and I just was there in the pool with him, and he just had this, burst of joy, and he was so squealing, and he was just so happy that his mama is with him in the pool, and we're just
Yeah.
splashing water. And I remember that was the moment
Yeah.
it really
Okay.
stuck, and I thought that this is what
Mm,
you need to be
mm,
present. You can't
mm.
always be thinking about the
Very true.
future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hope that answers the
Yeah,
question.
I remember. So Ayurved runs these parent training therapy programs, no, where we are training the parent. I
Yeah.
remember my very senior therapist saying this to the parent that this is play. This is play.
Yeah.
Don't convert this into anything else. I am
Yeah.
telling you techniques which you will do, but it is play. He has
Yes.
to know that you're playing. I remember
Yeah.
that conversation when the
Yeah.
therapist is teaching the parents.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe, I agree. You get so engrossed in curing,
Yeah.
fixing something.
Correct. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's very natural. I can't blame
And
any of the.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it is true with every parent. Now, since you're
Yeah.
saying, I was just thinking of my own kids that
Yeah.
how much I'm telling them, abhi ye padho, abhi ye padho, abhi ye karo, abhi piano karo, how structured I'm
Yeah.
trying to make their life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you can't blame yourself as well because that's what you feel.
that
You feel time is
is
running out. But then I guess a little
that's
bit of
how I think
reminder
we are
here and there.
also wired like that. I think we're
Yeah,
just wired
exactly.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But a little
Okay.
bit of reminder here and there, even if it means you put a note on your bulletin board or
Yeah,
your fridge
yeah.
saying that,
I want to touch upon a bit of Dhruv's communication now because a
sure,
lot of parents, like you said, and as we spoke earlier also, Archana, when I mentioned that I know of a lot of parents, and it's not uncommon for a child to be neurotypically developing, and then suddenly at the age of 2.5, 3, the speech begins to regress. And
sure.
so I
Okay.
want to understand from Dhruv's perspective that as a mother to a non-speaking autistic son, how have you explored or discovered Dhruv's unique way of expressing himself? And I think that
Okay.
may help a lot of other parents, whether or
Okay.
not their child is speaking less or not speaking at all. I think they need to discover that way
Yeah,
of
yeah,
communication. They have to figure out that he is communicating, just that maybe
yeah.
not in words, probably. So, yeah.
Right. So I think there's just a one word answer for this, Vandita. It's instincts. In the end, it's your instinct as a parent, and especially mothers. I think we have very strong instincts when it comes to our children, right? So I
Yeah.
think most of the communication with Ruby has mostly been that I exactly know what he's asking. Believe
Mm,
it or not, and a lot of people around me are kind of astonished most of the time that they wonder, okay, how did you know exactly that these are the like very specific things. But to put it very plainly, he uses my hand to point to things, and that has been how it is. He's also introduced to Avas, so he's using an AAC device. I mean, he's still learning to use it.
yeah.
Before this, we tried PECs and any method. I think there is merit in trying everything, whatever's possible, without and just see what really sticks with your child, like
Yeah.
what kind of communication style. But please do not give up on the pursuit. Like, please do not just try once and just say that this is not going to happen. You have to
Mm,
keep reintroducing whatever strategies you're trying. You have to keep reintroducing from time to time.
mm,
Someday something will stick.
mm,
Like and children have, especially like I'll give you an example. This happened just yesterday. I'll tell you. So I take him to swim class, and so we drive, and he sits right next to me. So he was eating so I had two pieces of fruit. Okay, he was eating one of those, and it's a guava, so he likes eating only the outside thing. He doesn't like eating the seed. All right. So he just finished that, and then he just put it, and then I'm like very like Bangalore traffic, as you can imagine. I'm just like hectic. I'm just thinking, oh my God, am I going to make it on time? And he's just pulling my hand. And I kept wondering, okay, what does he want exactly? He's just eating his fruit. And then he kept pushing it and showing it to me to the back of the car, all right? And then I was just wondering, okay, what do you want? What do you want? And then he showed the back and he showed the fruit. So he's trying to tell me that the other fruit that is there, that you kept at the back of the car, that's what I want now. So you know what I mean? This is just a small example because it's fresh in my head. So I
yeah.
think these you have to pay attention and see, okay,
Yeah.
how is it that the
Yeah.
child, but mostly it's
Yeah.
instinctive. And I'm still, I do not claim to be an expert in any of this, but it's just my journey. And
Yeah.
so I'm still hoping that he takes to Avas, and so that way I have seen a lot of my friends' kids have really, reached that space where they can use the tablet and just communicate what is that they want. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
obviously, there is
I've heard.
always
I've heard
there's
therapists
a
talk
hope that
about
we can.
flashcards
Yeah,
or photos. So
yeah,
my cousin sister's son,
mm,
she has actually given him a tab, like an iPad, and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
so smart. He will go on Google and type, and then he will
Oh, the
just. So
image
one day,
comes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So one day,
yeah,
I think he had some toothache. I found that very
yeah,
smart. He had a toothache, and he wrote,
yeah,
"My tooth is." He just wanted to tell her, "My tooth hurts. I want to go to a dentist." He just
yeah.
did it on Google. That photo or thing came up. He showed it, and they
Wow.
went to the dentist. That
Yeah,
was very mind-boggling for me. That
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
understand, they know the
Yes,
letters, they can type,
yes, yes.
and I found iPad or whatever tab and Google to be very, very useful, honestly.
No, it's fabulous. Actually, we
Yeah.
do not give credit. Most of us, I don't know if it is us, at least the people around us assume that just because the child is not talking, that the child is not intelligent, which is
Ah,
so far from the truth because we have to remember that they're very intelligent. My child is very intelligent, and we have to always presume competence. We have to always presume that my child completely understands what's going on. So if
yeah.
we move from that mindset, I think we'll figure out that okay, this is what the child is
Hmm,
trying to tell
hmm,
us,
hmm.
which is amazing what you just said. No, they find ways to
Yeah,
communicate.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we should just give them access. That's it, as
Yeah,
much as
yeah,
possible.
access. And I
Yeah,
think one
yeah,
thing that you stressed upon earlier is something that I believe in personally, because as a parent, I was very close to my children when they were growing up. So I used to observe
yeah,
very closely.
yeah.
And I think that's exactly what I've seen my therapist tell parents.
Right.
Observe, observe,
Yes,
observe, because
yes,
not everything can be taught. Some things are
yes.
observational. So I
Yeah.
will agree with what you're saying. I think observation
Right.
is very, very needed.
Yeah, yeah,
You write, right, Archana? You write a lot. I
yeah.
know that you. What role does that play for you? Do you think all the parents who are listening here should just have a diary or something?
Yes.
So
I
not all of them would want to be writers or are good at writing, but is there some further meaning to this that
yeah.
writing is gonna, yeah, tell me.
No, so actually, I wouldn't call myself a writer. I just started. See, publicly, I have just written maybe a few articles.
Hmm.
But then, see, I'll just show you. So I have like a journal like this. I must have written like some 8 of these books, all right, from
Acha.
time to time. So these are all my personal diaries, and I there is a lot of merit in keeping a journal. You can call it anything. It could be a
Yeah.
gratitude journal or it could also just be a way to track your child's progress, quote unquote, right? Any
Yeah.
milestone that your child is reaching.
Yeah.
And even we just talked about observation, right? So sometimes, because it's very overwhelming, we tend to forget also that, okay, my child did this. But then, writing down, it helps you with all this. You can write
Hmm.
today's date and say that, okay, today my child did this. And he could, put the peg onto the board or something like that. So, like for example, when I was teaching my child teaching Dhruvi how to learn the cycle, he was refusing to sit on the cycle at all,
Hmm.
completely resisting it. He just did not want. I tried a lot of things like a cover, a seat cover, then that wheels, supporting wheels. Then I thought the seat cover was probably even the color I changed. I got like a different kind of a ring, a bell with a different kind of a ring. Tried so many different things, but this child would just refuse to sit on it. So then, you know what I did? I still remember in my diary, I just wrote these things that, okay, it's my goal to make sure that my child learns how to cycle. Let it take however long it takes. It took him 5 years to learn, all right, like starting from whenever. And now there's no stopping him.
Got it.
But yeah,
Got
so
it.
for these,
Hmm.
for logging your
Hmm.
child's, small milestones, everything is a win,
Got it.
right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
That and
Got it.
also your feelings. I mean, why
Actually, I
not
want to touch
journal?
upon that
Yeah.
also. So I understand journal.
Yeah.
How good is your Hindi, by the way? I can see some
Uh,
parents saying Hindi में बोल दो.
I'm a
So if
Bangalorean.
you can,
I mean,
uh,
अच्छा है, but please, like, excuse me for the grammar
हाँ
here and
ग्रामर
there.
सादिक जी ग्रामर इग्नोर करिएगा वो ट्राई करेंगी हिंदी में नहीं तो मेरा माय होल क्वेश्चन
Question है
अर्चना
क्या? Okay,
हाँ
sorry. Huh?
किसी ने लिखा था चैट
Okay,
पे
okay. Huh.
so my question actually was more from personal mental health. I know
Sure.
parents go through a lot of pressure, बहुत है यहाँ पे,
Yeah.
you know.
Correct.
And how has your journaling, your writing helped you with that? मतलब पेरेंट्स को करना है वो क्या लिखें, एंड कोई नहीं पढ़ेगा, वो बंद करके रख सकते हैं. दे मे बी एंग्री ऑन
Correct.
समबडी,
Correct.
दे मे बी
Correct.
वेरी वेरी
Correct.
एंग्री ऑन
Correct.
डेस्टिनी,
Correct.
ऑन गॉड, ऑन हस्बैंड, ऑन पेरेंट्स,
Hmm.
हुएवर. वो लिख
Yeah.
सकते हैं. I mean, tell me a little bit about how does it help your mental health? And if you can speak in Hindi or English mix, तो
Yeah.
बढ़िया है.
ओके, तो पहले आपको ये याद करना है कि आपको कोई मोटिव नहीं होना है, लाइक देयर शुड बी नो
हाँ,
एंड
गोल
प्रोडक्ट.
नहीं है कुछ.
कोई
हाँ.
नहीं देख रहा है, हाँ, देयर आर नो
हाँ.
गोल्स. ओके,
हाँ.
कोई नहीं देख रहा है कि अच्छा इसके बाद क्या है, इसका यूज क्या है, ये सब नहीं देखना है. बस ये लिखिए कि आज आपने क्या देखा, क्या ऑब्जर्व किया आपने आपके चाइल्ड में, और आज के दिन में क्या अच्छा लगा आपको, लाइक ग्रैटिट्यूड, राइट. आपको ये थोड़ा वो माइंड सेट थोड़ा शिफ्ट करना है कि आपको लाइक यू हैव टू स्टार्ट बीइंग ग्रेटफुल. ओके,
हम्म.
वेरी डिफिकल्ट, राइट, बहुत ही मुश्किल है दैट यू आई डोंट नो, यू कांट जस्ट गेट अप एंड से ओके थैंक यू गॉड
या
फॉर.
या या
बट देन
या
अगर आप देखेंगे तो लाइक हमारे लाइक एरिया में ही एक कारपेंटर रहते हैं, वो आए थे. तो उन्होंने बोला कि उनके मस्जिद में कोई आते हैं जो अपने बच्चे को कंधे पे ऐसे उठा के लेके आते हैं हर रोज. ओके, फॉर द प्रेयर. एंड I don't know. When you think of all
या
that, shouldn't you be grateful
या
for अच्छा हमारा बैड, I mean,
बच्चा
whatever
अपने आप
what
चल
we
पा रहा
have,
है. या
right, like, I mean, I don't know, for access. I mean, we are able to sit and attend a Zoom call. We are able to
हाँ.
I mean, I sometimes
हाँ.
think कि मेरा बच्चा हॉर्स राइडिंग जा रहा है, मैं यहाँ लेके जा रही हूँ, मैं वहां लेके जा रही हूँ. बट इतने सारे लोग हैं जिनको वो एक्सेस ही नहीं है, राइट.
या
आई मीन, जो कहीं पे भी
या
नहीं लेके जा सकते. थेरेपी फीस कितना ज्यादा है, वो नहीं दे पा रहे हैं रूरल एरियाज में ये सब. अभी ये देखिए, अगर वो कंपेयर करेंगे तो यू कैन
हम्म.
बी ग्रेट, राइट, कि इतना तो है हमारे पास. हम ये सब
सही
कर
है.
पा रहे हैं अपने बच्चे के लिए, लाइक
या
दैट.
एंड
सो
इट्स ऑल्सो ओके दैट ऑन सम डेज आपको गुस्सा भी आ रहा है. मतलब मेरे को ये चाहिए
वो
कि
या
पेरेंट्स वो जर्नल के थ्रू देर एबल टू लेट गो ऑफ अ लॉट ऑफ एंगर, होप, ग्रैटिट्यूड, एवरीथिंग फॉर देयर मेंटल हेल्थ. एंड आई थिंक
या
देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन बाय आकांक्षा.
ओके.
उन्होंने लिखा है, मैम मेरी बेटी 2 इयर्स की है बट अभी भी वो मम्मा पापा भी नहीं बोल पाती ठीक से. बहुत ट्राई करती हूँ बट वो कुछ रिप्लाई नहीं करती. प्लीज हेल्प मी इन दिस. इफ यू कैन शेयर सम पर्सपेक्टिव. आकांक्षा,
ओके.
वैसे बच्ची बहुत छोटी है आपकी, इतना परेशान होने की चीज नहीं है. बट अर्चना, इफ यू हैव एनी पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन दिस यू कैन शेयर विद आकांक्षा.
तो आई थिंक पहले तो प्लीज रिलैक्स कीजिए एंड जस्ट डोंट गेट टू वर्कड अप, लाइक डोंट गेट सो एंशियस. एंड सी, आई थिंक इन द एंड वी आर, आई एम अ पेरेंट, बट आई थिंक वी शुड let her know that she should take them to a developmental pediatrician and a speech therapist, and get the diagnosis done. Like वो टेस्ट करवाते हैं, वो थोड़ा करवा लीजिए, स्पीच एंड हियरिंग क्लिनिक लेके जाके. बट like you said, it's still a small young age. I mean, इतना भी परेशान मत होइए. I think in a few months, things might, every child hits the milestone in a very different time. But I always think, mothers have this instinct. If she thinks something is off, she should totally go and get it checked out. But whatever come, what may, whatever the outcome is, just know that you can overcome it. And
ट्रू ट्रू ट्रू, आई
nothing is
एग्री.
going to be
या.
the end of the world. Yeah.
हाँ. या, आई एग्री. तो आकांक्षा, आई थिंक हमारा भी फीडबैक वही है दैट एज अ मदर यू नो, आपको पता है कि कुछ गलत है, कुछ गड़बड़ है, एंड यू शुड स्टार्ट वर्किंग फ्रॉम डे वन. वर्किंग का मीनिंग ये नहीं है कि उसको सेंटर टू सेंटर आप भाग रहे हो. बहुत छोटा बच्चा है, कहीं बैठ भी नहीं पाएगा. पर आप तो शुरू कर सकते हो ना, घर से बच्चे के साथ एंगेज करके, उसको बिजी रखे, बहुत सारी चीजें. सो हाँ, हाँ, a lot of people are now asking potty training questions, but I want to end this with one question, Archana, which is again meant for these parents only. जो अभी आपसे question कर रहे हैं, maybe 5 year olds के parents होंगे, 6 year olds, 2 year olds. That what would you say to such parents who are just beginning their autism journey and might feel uncertain or overwhelmed?
Okay. So I just have this to say that I always say parents who approach me even in therapy centers and all that, that it will get better. It will all get better. Please don't lose hope. And please don't think that please don't think of, how my child will be when he's 20 years old or as an adult, who's going to take care. I mean, these thoughts are really required. And yes, please plan for it, financially plan for it. And if somebody can help you out, then definitely take their help. But always know that the child grows up and
Yeah,
comes into his own, the body changes, everything gets better. I have seen my son running around, not sitting down even a single second, to now where he sits on a horse for 45 minutes, or something like
mm,
that. So please remember that it will get better. Don't lose hope, and you all are not alone. There are
yeah,
many parents around you, and I think the main thing is take care of yourself first. Please अपने health पे ध्यान दीजिए, and
yeah,
then take care of your children. Take some
yeah,
time out to meet your friends, find time for some a change of scene, something like that. Basically, take care of yourself first, and it will all get better. I
yeah,
promise.
yeah. I think I agree with that. Uh, I think that is true with any scenario.
Yeah, yeah,
जैसे जैसे टाइम निकलता है you figure out that वो
yeah, yeah.
situation भी थोड़ा evolve हो जाती है, things become
Yeah,
better. Yeah,
having said that, it's not an easy journey at all. It's not
no, it
full
is
of
not
roses.
easy. Yeah.
But we learn, on the way.
Mm,
I feel like we somehow learn how to deal. It
mm,
gets less overwhelming only because we get accustomed to it. That
yeah,
we
true.
start to learn how to find our way in it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I will probably just ask you one question which you may have gone through because Hemlata is asking this that, her son is non-verbal right now, 5.5 years old. How did you manage potty training of such a child? If you remember
oh,
that journey, then you can share. Akanksha, I will just say one thing to you. बहुत छोटा बच्चा है आकांक्षा आपका अभी 2 साल का है आप बहुत परेशान हो रहे हो किसी के साथ नहीं खेल रहा थोड़ा just take it easy नहीं खेल रहा वो खेल लेगा but you need to spend time अभी I'll ask somebody from the team also to get in touch with you Akanksha but if you
yeah.
can help with Hemlata's question.
So I'd like to say that I am also, in fact, even though Dhruv is 11 years old, we're just about reaching that. Okay, so it has taken me a long time to reach this stage. You have to keep persisting. You have to try various methods, and it will only happen when the child is ready. But I wouldn't say don't put in work. But I know how much of a failure I used to think I am because I
Hmm.
could not potty train my child. I mean, he was potty trained and then he lost it all, right? But I would like to please tell her that okay, have show yourself some grace and just
Yeah.
do not lose hope. Keep trying. I think the key here is consistency, Vandita. You
ठीक
just have to keep
so
being
yeah so
consistent.
Hemlata I think you have to just keep trying it may happen in 3 months 6 months 1 year more but
Yeah,
you cannot stop thinking कि वो नहीं कर रहा so one day he will do it.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of questions have come if you can see
yeah.
uh
Old age. So
So
yeah,
this is what happens, Archana. So now parents see you as a parent of an 11-year-old. तो वो they just want to have these answers. जैसे
yeah.
ना मेरी बेटी
No,
पांच
I
साल की
know.
है वो सब काम भी खुद करना चाहती है और करती भी है पर सिटिंग नहीं है रेस्टलेस है 5 साल का बच्चा है नजमा रेस्टलेस मेरा बच्चा 8 साल का हो गया वो आज तक रेस्टलेस है भागता रहता है बट
Yeah,
if there is a concern so if as a parent there's a concern then there's a concern you have to work on the concern वो अगर real concern है that he has certain behavior concerns that you have to work on it
yeah,
तो वो आपको हम नहीं बता सकते I think only वो diagnosis ही बता सकता है आपको
yeah.
a
I think
diagnosis
you have
can
to
tell you
work
कि
with yeah
हाँ
with their occupational therapist. I think they would
हाँ
be the right
हाँ
people to see if there's actually something wrong. But like you
हाँ
rightly said, why should the child sit down? It's fine. It's okay
Uh,
if the child is seeking movements because that's
yeah,
what
actually,
sensory.
one of the senior therapists during this Ayurved training also told the parent that the more the child is seeking, the more he's learning. So do
Yeah,
not think कि वो walls पे ऐसे hand करके जा रहा है. There's a reason why he's doing.
yeah, yeah.
Seeking sensory, yes, but
Yes.
there's a lot going on in his brain when he's doing all that. So you shouldn't stop.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, because they're trying to, bridge those sensorial gaps themselves. They're so
yeah.
intelligent that they're
Yeah,
figuring
they're
out.
very
Like
intelligent,
my son.
and that is why
Yeah,
they're seeking a lot. Yeah. That is
yeah.
something
My
I've read
son
also.
wanted
But
to
I want to
hang.
tell the parents. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's
Yeah.
what. So we should just let them be and obviously seek occupational therapy side by side. That's my
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. किसी का वेट गेन सादिक बोल रहा है मैम मेरा बेटा 10 साल का है लेकिन उसकी बॉडी थोड़ा वीक है शायद 2 साल के बेबी की जैसे है
Oh, okay.
दिस इज द गट इश्यू सादिक जब आप बच्चे का वेट नहीं पुट ऑन होता तो मतलब गट में उसके न्यूट्रिएंट्स एब्जॉर्ब नहीं हो रहे एक काम करो आप लोग प्लीज ये क्वेश्चंस आई थिंक यू हैव कम फ्रॉम आयुर्वेद ग्रुप इफ अगर आप
Okay.
थेरेपी ग्रुप का पार्ट हैं तो प्लीज गेट इन टच विद दिव्या मैम सो दैट शी कैन आस्क दीज क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू फ्रॉम द थेरेपिस्ट अगर नहीं है इस ग्रुप का पार्ट देन ऑल्सो यू कैन टेक्स्ट द एडमिन सो दैट शी कैन हेल्प यू बट इतना डोंट वरी ये सब सॉल्वेबल चीजें हैं दे विल गेट
Correct.
सॉल्व्ड
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
या
Yeah.
perfect Archana I've taken 40 minutes of yours thank you so much
Okay.
you can
Thank
see this is never ending अगर हम ये चल सकता है I know parents would love to talk
thank
to you
you. No,
um
I know, and I
but
completely empathize. I mean, I
I know
know as a parent of a young
yes
child, even I
yes
wanted
yes yeah yeah
answers to everything.
and I think
Yeah,
somewhere we also understand that obviously you will have questions parents will have
yeah,
questions I as a parent will have so many questions to other parents so it's very
right,
natural and that
correct.
is what we try to get parents like you at
Yeah,
times you try to get experts to do Q&A at times you try to get parents like you to do special parenting talk whatever helps wherever
no, but that's
but thank you
fabulous
so
what you're
much
doing,
yeah
Vandita. It's just amazing what you're doing. Really, I'm sure it's everyone's benefiting a lot from this.
yeah I hope they
Right?
are yeah thank you so much Archana thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
today
Yes,
and we shall meet in Bangalore soon
sure, sure. Thank you. I
okay
had a great time.
thank
Thank you
you
to all the people who have joined,
yeah yeah
and looking forward to collaborate again. Take care.
perfect thank you bye bye parents
Bye. Good evening.